Okay, I'd like to show a quick tutorial on using the Align and Distribute tools, which will really help you out in making your infographic look neat and organized. And so I've got something that's pretty much already built. I'm going to play around with these little flower graphics that I want to add. And in this case, I have things that are relatively identical, but I want them to look really uniform. And the trick to using the Align tool, let's first open it. Sometimes you'll find it over here on the right, the Align palette. If not, go to Window, Align to get it open. So I've got it open, and these little icons here are my best friends. Let's just play around with them and see what we do. I'm going to select all three objects. And now what these are doing, if you look down here, there's a little box that says Align To, and it's selected Align to Selection. So that means it's going to line everything up relative to everything else that's selected. I could also align to a key object, one that I select, or the artboard. If I align to the artboard, and then I pick something like here, this is aligned to the left, you'll see they'll all go to the very left side of the board, or the center, or the right side. But usually you don't want something exactly on the artboard, you want to align things with each other. So most of the time we're going to use Align to Selection. So we'll pretend these are kind of out of line. If we select them all, we can align them to the left of each other. In this case, they're the same size, so you're not going to see a difference if we do left, center, or right. We can also do, let's mess them up a little bit, align the top and bottom. So vertical align, we get them all in a row like this. So you can see how that's a little self-explanatory, but also fun to play with. There's also the Distribute tool, and that's to space them out evenly among each other. So in this case we've got them aligned, but let's say we want them equally spaced. We can distribute their centers this way. And again, if we had them in a line like this, let's align them to the top and then distribute their centers horizontally. And you'll get a nice even spacing on everything. So this is a really great tool to use in making everything look neat and nice. I'm going to align them, distribute them. In this case, I want them to fill up this little spot down here. So I'm going to put them in a little group, try to size them all at once. When I resized them there, I held down the Shift key, and that helps them keep the same proportions, so I don't end up squashing them. So make sure they look all right, and get them kind of in the right place. This is also helpful to line them up with other things on the board without just having to eyeball it. So in this case, I want all of these to line up with this existing text box. So I hold down Shift, select, so I'm just holding down Shift as I click on everything. If you accidentally select something you didn't want to, let's say I accidentally have that box selected as well, I can hold down Shift and select it by itself again, and it'll go out of my selection. So I only want them to line up to that text box. I'll go left align here, and now they look nice. In this case, maybe I want to give them a little more vertical space, make everything, and to assure that I've got them all distributed again, I'm going to do the Distribute button, and I'm just going to kind of align them. Let's say I want them kind of in the middle of that blank space. I could eyeball it. I can also just draw another object quickly. So let's draw a rectangle that is the size of the space I'm trying to align them to. A little bigger here so you can see what I'm doing. We'll make that the right size. I'm going to select all of these and do the Align Center. And it shifted a little bit off. Move this right back where it was. We've got aligned to the center of that rectangle, so we know they're in the center of that space. So now I feel like everything's kind of harmonious, looking nice. I'm going to show you one more little panel that might be helpful. In this case, I have all my flowers lined up facing the same way. I want to make it look a little more random, so I'm going to take each one and use the Transform palette. Sometimes you'll find it up here. It's also down here next to Align sometimes. This is a thing in Illustrator. You can find stuff a lot of places, or you can always go to Window and look for Transform if you can't find it. I'm going to use this Rotate. You could have some automatic angles built in. Let's do -30 and see what that looks like. Oh, one more thing. You'll notice, I'm going to Command Z there to go back. Oops, and now I froze it. Undo rotate. There we go. My anchor point was a little off, which caused it to rotate up and start moving away. This box over here lets you set the anchor point. I'm going to set it right in the middle, and then when I rotate, it's just going to rotate around that point. So let's do 30. I actually think that one's a little too far rotated, so I'm going to put in my own. I'm just going to do like a -10. Have it rotate that way. Let's do this guy, maybe a 15. Do it the other way. And this guy, that's going to look nice. Let's try a -20. So now my flowers look like they're a little more falling from the sky, or whatever suits your eye. So there's a quick little tutorial on using the align and distribute, and on